minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to waive on to this important hearing, and thank you to the witnesses. I want to focus on two areas. First, a consumer protection and safety issue, and second, more broadly, manipulation and privacy of our data. On consumer protection and safety, earlier this year, 2 infants from 2 different families ended up in the intensive care unit in Wilmington, Delaware, after being fed homemade baby formula based on instructional videos viewed on YouTube. 1 infant suffered from cardiac arrest that resulted in brain damage. For years, the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned parents against homemade baby formulas because it puts infants at risk of serious illness and even death. And since at least 2018, the FDA has recommended against the use of homemade formula. Even as recent as 29 days ago, the FDA issued an advisory against homemade formula. In February, my office informed your team, Mr. Pichai, and as a follow-up, I've sent a letter requesting information and action on this issue, and in the hopes of a response by April 1st. Mr. Pichai, this is just a yes or no question. Can I count on a response to my letter by the deadline of April 1st?
Congresswoman, definitely yes. Heartbreaking to hear the stories. We have clear policies. Thanks for your highlighting this area. I think the videos have been taken down, and we are happy to follow up and update with you.
We checked today. For years, these videos have clearly violated your own stated policy of banning the videos that endanger the, as you say, quote, physical well-being of minors. And so I'm pleased to hear that we will be hearing back from you. And while we're considering Section 230, what's clear from this hearing is that we should all be concerned by all of your abilities to adequately and, just as importantly, rapidly moderate content. In some of these cases, we're talking life and death. Second, as many of my colleagues have noted, your companies profit when users fall down the rabbit hole of disinformation. The spread of disinformation is an issue all of us grapple with from all across the political spectrum. Disinformation often finds its way to the people most susceptible to it because the profiles that you create through massive data collection suggest what they will be receptive to. I introduced the Detour Act to address common tactics that are used to get such personal data as possible. And these tactics are often called dark patterns, and they are intentionally deceptive user interfaces that trick people into handing over their data. For the people at home, many of you may know this as when you go on an app, it doesn't allow you to have a no option, or it will insinuate that you need to do something else, install another program like Facebook Messenger app to get on Facebook. You all collect and use this information. Mr. Pichai, yes or no, would you oppose legislation that banned the use of intentionally manipulative design techniques that trick users into giving up their personal information?
We definitely are happy to have oversight on these areas and explain.
Thank you. I have to go to Mr. Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey, yes or no?
Open to it.
Mr. Zuckerberg.
Congresswoman, I think the principle makes sense and the details matter.
Okay. Mr. Zuckerberg, your company recently conducted this massive ad campaign on how far the internet has come in the last 25 years. Great ad. You ended with the statement, "We support updated internet regulations to address today's challenges." Unfortunately, the proposal that you direct your viewers to fails to address dark patterns, user manipulation, or deceptive design choices. Mr. Zuckerberg, will you commit now to include deceptive design choices as part of your platform for better internet regulations?
Congresswoman, I'll think about it. My initial response is that I think that there are other areas that I think might be more urgently in need.
That might be your, if you say this is a desire of yours to address the issues that we face today, dark patterns goes back to 2010, this whole issue of deceptive practices, and I hope that you will look into it. I will say, Ms. Trahan and others have mentioned, she mentioned our children, others have mentioned seniors, veterans, people of color, even our very democracy is at stake here. We must act and we will assure you we will act. Thank you so much. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back 6 seconds.
I thank